Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We continue reading from page 210. What then is the Atman? It is of the nature of being, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Describing the Atman. The Atman is called being, knowledge, bliss, absolute. This is the best definition or description of the truth that the sages can give. This is because the Atman is beyond name and form. The term Sat Chit Ananda is not mentioned in any of the major Upanishads. Tattvabodha Upanishad mentions this term. Sometimes the sages or the Vedas have used negative term to describe the Atman. As for instance, in the Kena Upanishad, describes the Atman in this way. The Atman is the ear of the ear, mind of the mind, speech of the speech, soul of the soul. Neither the eyes nor the speech nor the mind can reach the self. It is different from all that we know and we do not know. Thus, we have heard that which can never be seen, heard, cogitated, and enlivened by the eyes, ears, mind, or prana, respectively, but that which makes these organs function by its presence is the Atman. So, I will continue reading until you have anything to share or ask, because it's pretty simple and easy to understand. What it's trying to say is, when it says that it is the ear of the ear, in other word, or mind of the mind, in other word, it is not the object of eyes or ears that is Atman, but the Indriya or the energy that functions, that allows the ear to function, that allows eyes to function, that allows mind to function. That energy, that aspect is Atman. So when it says mind of the mind or speech of the speech, it only means the essence of the speech or the essence of eye or ear or any skin or any of the sense organs is the Atman, is that energy. Swami Vivekananda says the Advaitists then have no place for the individual soul. They say individual souls are created by Maya. In reality, they cannot exist. If there were only one existence throughout, how could it be that I am one and you are one and so forth? We are all one. And the cause of evil is the perception of duality. As soon as I begin to feel that I am separate from this universe, then first comes fear, and then comes misery. Where one hears another, one sees another. That is small. Where one does not see another, where one does not hear another, that is the greatest. That is God. In that greatest is perfect happiness. In small things, there is no happiness. This is the quote-unquote statement of Swami Vivekananda, which says that if there is one existence, if there is one soul, if there is one Brahman, if there is one Atman, the Atman that stays in us, dwells in us, is the same power or same energy dwells in everything else. And so there is no question of other or another. The moment you have the idea of I am and there are others, then you are talking about duality. So the fundamental axiom of Advaita Vedanta is that individuality is false. Not only are the body, mind, intellect, memory, and so on unreal, individual selfhood too is unreal. Thus, it is clear that after attainment of the knowledge that we are the Atman, we need not do sadhana further to know that we are Brahman, the Absolute. Knowing the self is ultimate knowledge. So, here it says the emphasis is to know who we are, self-realization. Once the one who has realized the self or Atman, he does not need to pursue any other knowledge. That knowledge is sufficient to trust, to see that there are no others. It is only that self, it is only that Atman or consciousness that pervades everywhere. So I remember one very short meditation on this point. Please relax, close your eyes. Remember what we just read? What we read was that what is essential, what is the eye of the eye, mind of the mind, speech of the speech, is the self, is the energy, is that consciousness. And once you recognize that you are that energy, you are that consciousness, and so is all other beings, have only name and shape and form, but essentially it is the same energy. And there is no individual energy. It is one energy. Appears as other. So on this, let us contemplate. Ask a question to ourselves. What is that one element? What is that one characteristic of the self that has never disappeared? That has never deceived? What is that element which is always present? Ask ourselves, is it my body? Is it my body which is as it is throughout our lifetime? Did we have this body as it is now at the time of our birth? Or was it the same body when you were a young school-going? Is it the same body at the time of you getting married? Is it the same body when you retired active life? Ask question, is it the same mind that always been the same? Is it the same mind, same emotion, same feelings and thoughts throughout your childhood, adulthood, and now? Is it the same intellect that you possessed when you were a little boy or girl? Is it the same intellect that when you passed your schooling or your education? What is that one thing that has been constant? Is it my breathing? Is it my breathing that has been always with me? And if it is yes, what enables the breathing to happen? What is the cause of the breathing? What is the energy that allows us to breathe? The energy that we can never see, never identify, cannot be described, does not have a name, shape, form, color, attributes. And yet it is the same energy that pervades throughout the manifestation. Realizing this energy is the self-knowledge. Knowing the self, there is nothing else to know. Om. Whenever you are ready, you may open your eyes. This is the premise of Shankara's famous Adhyasa Bhashya, the introduction to this Brahma Sutra, he says that the subject and the object, which are respectively called I and you, are as different as light and darkness, cannot have separate identities, much less attributes. Thus, the superimposition of the subject or its qualities on the object and its qualities, or vice versa, is unthinkable. So, there are two things. One is the subject, the other thing is object. All that we know is only objects. All that we can perceive is only objects. But who is the perceiver? The one who perceives is the subject. So once again, all that we can perceive through our sense organs, they are nothing but objects. They can be gross, they can be subtle, they can be extremely subtle, but ultimately they are all objects. But the one who perceives it is the subject. Now, it does not mean that this mind or this intellect is the one who perceives it. It is the self, it is that Atman that allows mind and intellect to function. So ultimate source of knowing is the self. So that is the subject, to know anything. But to stay focused on the subject, that is the samadhi. To remain aware of the awareness is the samadhi. So when you have no idea of where and who you are, when you lose or rather transcend your individuality, is the time, is the state of samadhi. So here on the chart, on this page 211, it shows different school of Advaita Vedanta. Now in Vedas, there is a school called Advaita, which is non-duality. But among non-duality, there are different thought that people have created. But it is just that for the sake of knowing, you can read, but ultimately they all mean, as it says at the bottom of the chart, the Vivarna school, for example, the conclusion of their philosophy is, number one, Brahman is the sole reality. Second, Jiva is a reflection of Ishvara. Third, cosmos is created and the Jiva experiences it. This is the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta. Within the Advaita Vedanta, this is one branch called Vivarna school of philosophy. Second one is Vartika school, second philosophical thought. Their conclusion is Brahman is the sole reality. So that again, it confirms that Brahman is the sole reality. Second, reflection theory of Pratibha Bindu. Jiva is reflection of Brahman, one only. So the word used Brahman. In the first, it was Ishvara. Now, the major difference between first one and the second one is that in the first philosophy, it is said, Shrishti Drashti. That means first the cosmos was created and then the Jiva. Whereas the second school and third school believes that it was Shrashti and Drashti. So Drashti, which is what we can see, the Jiva. Without that, cosmos does not exist. Cosmos exists because we see it, because we perceive it. Jiva perceives it. If Jiva does not perceive it, there is no existence of cosmos. So the second and third school believes that the creation is Drashti Shrashti. Because we are the subject, so we see the object. Without the subject, there is no object. On this philosophy, Drashti Srishti, the scientists, at least I believe 17 or 19 or 20 different scientists of different countries have done a research. What is real? Is this Drashti and then Srishti, or is it Srishti and then Drashti? In English, it says holography. Everything exists because we exist. Or is it we exist, therefore other things exist? That's the debate. And it is called split experiment. The scientists have worked on it for I do not know how many years and come up to a conclusion that it is because what we see, therefore everything exists. Otherwise, it does not exist. In other words, one of our Upanishad says, Jagat Mithya, Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya. Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya. Which means only that consciousness is the truth. Existence, manifestation is relative truth, is appearance. So that's the statement for one of the Upanishads. The scientists wanted to prove whether that statement is right or not. And therefore, they did this, what is called split experiment. And hopefully this is something that I would like to show you when we meet. We will run that documentary, short documentary, where you can see that how the science have come to the same conclusion which thousands of years ago our sages have done. Page 212. This superimposition is due to avidya or ignorance. We superimpose antakarna or Atman, we superimposition the antakarna on the Atman and vice versa. The superimposition is beginningless, which means the ignorance of Maya has no beginning. Because if there was a beginning, in other words, prior to that, there was no ignorance. Ignorance is always there. What Sankara proposed using the Upanishad was that there is only one, and that is the truth or Brahman. His followers took up the key and discussed Advaita in various ways. There have been three important schools of Advaita Vedanta. These are the three different schools: Vivarna school, Vartika, and Bhamati. As in the chart on the previous page, briefly we saw the differences of these three schools. So we can read it quickly and then continue our main subject. The Vivarna school. The Sankara disciples, Tattvabodha, so one of the disciples of Sankara. Sankara's disciple Tattvabodha wrote an explanation on his teacher's commentary on Brahma Sutra. Unfortunately for him, his commentary on only 5 aphorisms or sutras remained. This commentary is therefore called Panchapadika Prakastama. Another follower of Sankara who wrote an explanation on Panchapadika, this has been called Panchapadika Vivarna. From this book, the name Vivarna school has come into existence. Vartika school. A second disciple of Sankara, Sureswara, wrote an explanatory note on Brahmadaranakya Upanishad. It was called Brahmadaranakya Upanishad Vartika. This had some novel ideas which made it school of thought. Bhamati school. The third school of Advaita Vedanta is that of Vikasapati Mishra. Vikasapati Mishra wrote a commentary on the first 4 aphorisms of Brahma Sutra It came to be called Bhamati after his wife's name. Mishra's wife was so devoted that until her husband completed writing the book, she served him with the devotion, though he had altogether forgotten he had a wife. Bhamati varies from the other two schools in some concept and has become a separate school. These three schools have almost everything in common, but they vary in some points. A few of these are the following. About the creation. Sureshwara school of Vartika school holds that creation takes place the moment we see it. When we do not see it, there is no creation. Such is the idea of Drashti theory. The Bhamati school says that ignorance of the jiva is the cause of creation. The Vivarna school does not accept this and says that the universe is virtually real till one has Brahman knowledge. Second, jivahood. The second point is about the nature of the living being. This is what concerns us here. According to Vartika and Bhamati school, the individual soul is the reflection of Brahman. This is called Pratibha theory. Pratibimba theory. This is what is accepted by Shankara also. The other theory is that Ishvara is the bimba or source and jiva is the pratibha. This is upheld by Vivarna school. This is not the view held by Shankara. So you see, as we discussed earlier, as I mentioned briefly, the differences of thought between these schools were concerning the reflection part of it. That jiva is the reflection of Brahman. 2 out of 3 believe that we are jiva is the reflection of that supreme, of that Brahman. Whereas the one school believes that it is two things. Ishvara or the Brahman is the reality. Jiva is an independent reality. If the jiva is the reflection of Brahman, when he reflected ends, there will be Brahman alone. Which means when the ignorance is removed or it is transcended, the only existence is Brahman. Only that remains is that energy, the supreme energy. The glory of Atman. Swami Vivekananda says, what is this Atman, this soul of man, which is neither the body nor the mind? This difference between man and all things in whole creation is not in kind of, but only in degree. The background, the reality of everyone is that same eternal, ever blessed, ever pure, ever perfect one. It is the Atman. The soul in the saint and the sinner, in the happy and miserable, in the beautiful and ugly, in man and animals, it is the same throughout. It is the shining one. The difference is caused by the power of expression. In some, it is expressed more, in other, less. But this difference is expression has no effect upon the Atman. This is important. So what does it say? It says that the energy, that Atman, that consciousness is the same, whether it is on man, female, male, beautiful person, ugly person, whatever. There is no difference, including the human and animals. They share the same energy. All creatures, all beings have the same source, same energies called Atman or Brahman. But the expression of that Atman varies. Now, in detail, it does not speak about that variations of why it varies, because that's a subject matter of other book. It varies because of our karmic account, our evolution. Imagine the energy source in your pet, in the dog, bird, fish, or human is the same. Then expression of that is different. Why? What you and I are discussing now is the subject matter that many do not understand or do not wish to understand, or fail to understand. Why? Because all of us are at the different rungs of the ladder. The ladder is the same, but we are at the different stages of evolution. So is the animal, so is the other beings. Whichever, whatever is it. It could be a fish, bird, animals, anyone. They also have the same energy, same source, same Atman, but the expression is different. They do not have the expression as we have. And therefore, human race on the whole is considered to be the blessed one. It's the one which is the peak of energy evolution of energy. Energy moves upward, or so to say upward. There is nothing called upward or downward, but it evolves the energy. The stage of human being is the stage where we are in position to contemplate. Animals, fish, birds do not contemplate. They do not have the faculty of asking questions or reasoning. So there is a stage that we are into where we can ask questions to ourselves to discover who we are, to really know who we are. And that's what it's trying to say, that we are at the different evolution and we can come to that conclusion that we are the self. Other beings have no such expression. So it's a difference of expression. Page 214. I intend to complete this chapter today, if we can stretch maybe another 5 minutes. The glory of Atman has been declared by Swami Vivekananda in these terms. What does the Advaitist declare? He says, if there is a God, that God must be both the material and the efficient cause of the universe. Not only is he the creator, but he is also created. He himself is this universe. How can that be? God, the pure, the spirit, has become the universe. Yes, apparently so. That which all ignorant people see as the universe does not really exist. What are you and I, and all these things are, we see, mere self-hypnotism. There is but one existence, the infinite, ever-blessed one. In that existence, we dream all these various dreams. It is the Atman, beyond all, the infinite, beyond the known, beyond the knowable, in and through. See, this is something that we need to read again. So I like to go slow on this page. I will repeat from the beginning. The glory of the Atman has been declared by Swami Vivekananda in these terms. What does the Advaitins declare? He says, if there is a God, that God must be both the material and the efficient cause of the universe. Not only is he the creator, but he is also the created. He himself is this universe. How can that be? God, the pure, the spirit, has become the universe. Yes, apparently so. That which all ignorant people see as the universe does not really exist. What are you and I and all these beings we see? Mere self-hypnotism. There is but one existence, the infinite, the ever-blessed one. In that existence, we dream all these various dreams. It is the Atman, beyond all, infinite, beyond the known, beyond the knowable, in and through that we see the universe. It is the only reality. It is this table. It is the audience before me. It is the wall. It is everything minus the name and form. Take away the form of the table. Take away the name. What remains is it. The Vedantians does not call it either he or she. There are fictions, delusions of the human being. There is no sex. In the soul, people who are under illusion, who have become like animals, see a woman or a man. Living gods do not see men and women. How can they who are beyond everything have any sex idea? Everyone and everything is the Atman, the self, the sexless, the pure, the ever blessed. It is the name, the form, the body, which are material, and they make all this difference. I think I'll take a break. I will not read further today because this is so crucial. This is so important. This is very, very significant. If you read and think about it, each word, each sentence, we are talking about what is Atman. We're trying to question it. We're not coming up with the answer because it cannot be answered. But what we can do is, as it describes in this paragraph, all that we know, all that is knowable is not Atman. It's not Atman. It's not that energy. Because it cannot be described. It cannot be explained. These are the pointers. They simply point, and we get realization that where have we placed our understanding, our knowledge on the wrong path. All along, for millions of lifetimes, we have been mind conditioned that this, what we can see, what we can perceive, is real. And apparently, our body is something which is closest to us. And so we think we are the body. But when we ask ourselves, is that true? We have been given a name by whoever, parents or relations or whatever condition, whatever reason the name has been given to everybody. It is the name given to the body, not to the energy, not that self, not the Atman. Atman has no name. Everyone calls me Umesh. But the day the energy leaves this body, nobody will say Umesh is lying here. They say it's a dead body lying here. Yeah? So the significance is that energy. That's vital. But that energy, how to describe? We have never seen it. No one has ever seen that energy. It does not have a shape. It does not have any particular location to find it. It is omnipresent, eternal, omniscient. So how to describe? You cannot pinpoint it. And this is why the sages or the Advaitiyans have come into the different method, which is known as a superimposition or avarna. Superimposition is that all that we see, all that we can perceive, all that our limited faculty of thinking and mind and intellect can perceive is only object. And only the relative truth. What is known as a Vyavaharika Satya. From transactional point of view, that is relative truth, yes. But it is superimposed on that energy, on that Atman, on that consciousness, which allows everything to exist. our level, at individual level, or as a Jivatma. Similarly, at the cosmic level, the entire manifestation is the existence superimposed on Brahman. The reality is that Brahman is that energy, that element which is shapeless, nameless, formless. There can only be this pointer used is it has the three qualities or three aspects. Sat, Chit, Ananda. The truth. What is the truth? Truth is the easiness of ease, the existence. Chit can be described as the all-knowing knowledge itself, or the consciousness. Bliss. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Ananda is the bliss. Bliss is something which is eternal, does not depend on any object or subject to sustain. So it is Sat, Chit, Ananda. That's the only way to describe what is Atman, according to Advaitiyas. So I would request we take a break here. Please close your eyes and try to recall what we read so far on this today about Atman. What is Atman? The existence. That is why we have to express gratitude for the existence. It is this existence that it has the energy, that is energy in and through the existence. And the existence is the truth, is the Sat. Existence has a name popularly known as Akasha. Akasha, which is nothing but the existence. Everything exists in that, and that exists in everything. The entire manifestation is in that existence, and that existence dwells within all that exists. And therefore, it is Sat, truth. The energy, consciousness, Brahman is Sat. Knowing that consciousness, to know the self, the Atman, is the only purpose of this life. It's the only purpose of our birth. We gained merit after hundreds and millions of birth time to be born as human. And the only purpose of this birth is to gain and experience that we are the Atman, we are the consciousness, we are Brahman. Undivided, one existence. One reality, known as Chit, consciousness, Brahman. Knowing that one reality, experiencing that one reality is the bliss. The Ananda, everlasting bliss. And so we are Sat Chit Ananda. Shivoham, Shivoham, Soham, Sat Chit Ananda, Swarupoham. Om. 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 Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, God, for giving us air to breathe. Thank you, God, for giving us water to drink. Thank you, God, for giving us sun for energy. Thank you, God, for giving us food to eat. Thank you, God, for giving us good health and happiness. Thank you, God, for giving us positivity. Thank you, God, for giving us all that we need. Thank you, God, for your love, your protection, your guidance, your blessings. Thank you, God, for the existence. Thank you for giving me a chance to serve you. Thank you.
Hari Om, Acharya ji.
Hari Om.
From what we read today, so effectively we can say any object has 5 components: name, form, and Satchidanand. If we do away with the name and form, it is all Satchidanand. And this Satchidanand is what? Is the Brahman?
Look, different names have been used by different school of philosophy, or the Sanatana Dharma, the Vedantians, the Advaita Vedantians call it Brahman. We are reading right now according to Advaita Vedanta, and going by that, it is called Brahman. However, we can always remember the Brahman is again a name, whichever sage, whichever Upanishad used it. And it also says that it cannot be, you cannot describe it. So there's a question of using any name. So the simple way to see is the existence, the isness of is. Whatever that is existing right now, the space, the Akasha, that has that same energy. That is that energy, that consciousness, that energy, which is also referred as a Brahman. Sat Chit Ananda belongs to that energy. And that energy...
My question is that by giving these names, are we not again limiting the limitless?
Yes, we are. But the only way that we can communicate among ourselves is by use of the word. And when we have to use the word to communicate, to describe, to express, we have to take support of these limited source of words, which can never be, it can never describe the reality ultimately. This is why Bhagavan Ramana always said, do not use your mind and your words. Maintain silence. Be in that mode of silence, because what's the point of talking or describing something that cannot be described? You can only experience it by going within yourself. And how do you go within yourself? Close your eyes, maintain silence and stillness. When you maintain silence and stillness, your journey inward could begin. And when you look within you and ask this to start with, ask these questions to ourselves. Am I this body? Am I these legs and hands and my heart and organs? Yes or no? Am I this mind, this thinking, these emotions, the feelings, the attitude, the personality? Am I that? When you further go on, am I this intellect, this judgment, this discrimination, this intellect? Am I that? If we are not that, then what are we? Stay with that question in silence and stillness. That will reveal, through the grace, it will reveal the experience of being pure consciousness, being the Atman. So Sat Chit Ananda is a pointer of that energy. As you rightly said, that all objects that we can perceive is made of name, shape, or form, plus Sat Chit Ananda. In other words, it is the spirit and the matter. Object is matter. Sat Chit Ananda is spirit, pure spirit. So everything is the combination of spirit and matter. When you realize you are not the matter. Whatever is, and you still exist. And because you still exist, it's only the result of spirit. When we say we exist, I mean everything that we see exists is the result of that spirit, that energy. And that's why there are a couple of very, in my point of view, very important documentary that I intend to run when we meet end of this year, which can open up our eyes that what we see is not real. What we cannot see is the real.
Very well, Acharya.
The power of silence is so abundant. It's so abundant. But point is, we have to first understand, are we in position to even maintain silence of 10 minutes? We have been so mind conditioned and accustomed to be so active physically and mentally, that you feel restless if somebody asks you to be still and silent for 10 minutes. That is why deep sleep state gives us the energy, freshness, because your body and mind is at rest. You are in that state of silence and stillness when you are in deep sleep. And that's the state when closest to Turiya, closest to the fourth, or the constant element that we have in three bodies, or three states rather, is that energy. Waking state, dreaming state, deep sleep state. What is common? The common is that consciousness, that energy. When we are awake, we forget it. We take it for granted. When we are in dream, we are not conscious about it. It is only when you are in deep sleep, that element, that energy gives you that feeling of freshness, rest, regeneration. Because you are that bliss.
Thank you, Acharya. Sorry, folks, one more important announcement. The yoga retreat which we were planning is now being preponed to December 6th to 10th of January, because we felt first week of January would be very, very cold in Delhi. So Acharya and the ashram has been kind enough to allow us to prepone it to December now. So save the dates, 6th December to 10th December. And Aditya and I will update you on the details consequently. For now, just fill up, save your dates and let us know how many people are coming in. And hopefully it works for you. It will be held in Delhi at the Aurobindo Ashram. We'll furnish you the details consequently. Thank you very much. Hari Om Acharya.
Thank you. Thank you. From my point of view, those who are regular, it is mandatory. So you have no option. I'm sorry. You have to attend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Acharya ji.
Thank you, Acharya ji.
Thank you.